God, how's that for timing? I'm becoming a producer, becoming a real producer and director here. Hi, everybody. How are you? I'm hoping that everybody can hear me. And welcome. We've got 40 of you so far. Wow. Everybody's early. Glad to see it. Sporting another one of my old tropical tent shirts. These things are big enough for two of me in it, but I had to throw away all my old clothes, and I saved the shirts because they kind of look okay from the chest up. So, but they are huge, and I can't believe that I used to wear these things. But it's a reminder to me every day that this thing really worked. Kind of motivates me to spread the message a little bit. I ask your indulgence if I look like a bobblehead with my head going back and forth. I have screens way over on this side. I have screens in front of me. I have screens way over on the left, and I try to keep track of all this stuff. Sometimes I forget to look at the camera, which is right there. It's been an interesting week, to say the least, in my thinking and rethinking this little YouTube adventure that I got myself into, and especially the deal with with a drop off in the number of views that I get on my videos, coinciding exactly with the timing of the Eric Berg thing and all the censorship talk. And if you've seen the video where I gave you my conclusions, which was just a couple of days after I first heard about it, that didn't mean I stopped thinking about it. And I've gotten a lot of comments. A lot of people have. One lady even told me that I was naive. I always thought that was the last thing I was naive. But I considered her point. And I dove right back into trying to find out if what I'm feeling is just normal for a new channel. What other things that the timing of that might have had coincidentally, because I did an awful lot of stuff when I first started this thing 6-7 weeks ago. I wasn't monetized, for example, when I first started. Now, I don't know how many of you really understand the inner workings of YouTube, but it's far more complicated than the casual observer of YouTube would ever believe. The things you have to go through and know and learn about the way YouTube actually operates. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And that's why there's so many people that start out on YouTube with high aspirations. They're going to become the next superstar. And after 2 months, YouTube just chews them up and spits them out. And they end up downtrodden and disappointed. And I went through the same thing with my drone channel, and I did it for years. But the drone channel never grew. There weren't enough drone guys, I guess. And it was dominated by a handful of Ken Berry-like guys, you know, the big guys in the space. And so I just did my little thing and went along and had fun and didn't worry too much about it, didn't try too hard. Or I got 100 views on a video, I was happy. Got 20, 30 people in a live stream. It was like having a little card game with the boys. We weren't worried about entertaining the world. It was just that. And when I first started this carnivore thing and revitalized the old drone channel, I had no idea what was going to happen. And the last thing that I expected to happen was what happened. And you probably saw that from the videos I put out, that I was just overwhelmed and emotional about the greatest thing in the world, being reborn and having new purpose and all that other stuff. And in the last 2 or 3 weeks, YouTube has kind of slapped me upside the head of reality and said, whoa, big fella, don't get ahead of yourself. And again, that coincided with all this censorship nonsense. So I'm saying, is there any point to even continuing this if we're just going to be blocked and canceled because our message doesn't coincide with the people at the World Health Organization who are actively trying to eliminate meat from the planet Earth? I mean, we all know that it's not being overblown, the effects of the new policies and trying to blame climate change on meat, and the big push to make fake meat out of poison and try to make it look like meat and taste like meat so they can fool all the people that just don't understand what we understand about. It isn't the look and the taste of it that's the reason that we eat it. We eat it because it's fuel for us, and it's the proper fuel and the proper nourishment, and it makes us healthy, and it makes us thin, and it takes our pain away. And they don't hear that. They don't hear that message. And they don't hear that message because of the sad state, unfortunately, of this world that we live in, and the control of these globalists, and the control that they have over the money and the big corporations, which are all on board because they're making a fortune, the control they have over the media, and the cancel culture that exists. And you see it every day. You don't dare go against the quote message. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in jail. They'll make up some crime you committed. It becomes dangerous, and it's scary. And this is not new. This has been going on for a long time. And this is one of the reasons that 10 years ago, I gave up and dropped out. I just said, there is no sense on trying to be in this game anymore. All you do is get in trouble, get stressed, and worry about everything. Just dealing with the human race in general, most people these days are just impossible to deal with. I think because they're all mentally ill from eating too many plants. But wouldn't it be funny if that was actually the real reason why the world is in such chaos now, is because the human race has poisoned itself and their brains don't work anymore? I think it's the reason for all the sexual confusion among younger people, is their hormones are so out of whack they don't know what they're supposed to be. And then along come all the globalists with their messages of trans this and trans that, and teaching young kids. It's too much for my old brain to take in all at once, and it happens too damn fast for my old brain to take in all at once. So I'm trying to make heads or tails of it. But back to my point. My point was talking about censorship. And I've been looking. I told you, I've been trying to figure this out on two fronts. Number one, is what happened to me normal for YouTube? Did it have anything to do with the fact that I got monetized quickly after I came back on? And I don't know if you know what that means, but YouTube does not make any money on somebody's videos unless they can run ads on those videos. The choice of whether to monetize them is up to me. But, and then that's another change. That choice is I don't know if I'm still going to have that choice in October, because they have changed a lot of the choices that I had. That's something for another day, another discussion. But here I come along. I was monetized, and to be monetized, which means you become you can participate in the YouTube Partner Program. You have to have 1,000 subscribers, and over the previous 365 days, you need to have 4,000 watch hours. A watch hour means an hour of somebody's time watching something you did. So if you have one person that watches your videos for 4,000 hours, you got 4,000 watch hours. If you make one video and it ends up getting 100,000 views, you'll have 10,000 watch hours just from that one video. So you can qualify in a day, or as it took me in the drone business, it took me 6 months to accumulate those 4,000 watch hours. So I figured, well, I'm still a nobody. Nobody's going to watch me. They took my monetization away after 2 years of inactivity. I got to earn it back again. So I need to just make some videos, not work too hard at it, just get them out there, let people discover me, build up a few watch hours, and then we'll see what happens when I get monetized. Well, I got, I'm watching the chat. Carlos says, when I took my shirt off, that's when I started to go like hell. And there's some truth to that. But I got the 4,000 watch hours in the first couple of days, which just surprised the hell out of me. So I went ahead and said, okay, I can be monetized now. God forbid, maybe I make a little money out of this. That's a whole nother story. So I went and applied for monetization, and YouTube says it can take up to 2 weeks for them to give you the decision. And 2 days later, I get a letter from YouTube that says, congratulations, you're now monetized. And that means that I can start earning a few pennies. I don't even know if it's a few pennies. It's like for every 1,000 views you get, you make $1, maybe $1. Now, if you're a guy like Ken Berry, that can add up to some significant money. If you're a little guy like me, it doesn't really add up to a whole lot. But it's something. It's something. And I need to make this really clear to you so you don't think I'm a mercenary. I don't want anybody thinking I'm a mercenary. I go out of my way not to beg for things or ask for things. I don't ask for subs. I don't ask for likes. I don't ask any of you to give you any, to do anything. I have ways that I can make money set up which don't cost anybody anything, like the Amazon links that you can buy the stuff that I use if you want to, and Amazon pays me a little commission. That brings me to the t-shirts, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Some people are very kind and give me a super chat or what they call, I never even knew it existed, but it's like a thank you thing where you can just, and I've gotten a few of them. And so I've started to make a little money, and that for me is exciting. And if those of you who are watching tonight were around for my first live stream, and I want everybody to know this, if you were around for my first live stream, you remember I answered somebody's question and basically told you the story of my entire life in about 20, 25 minutes. My ups and downs in business, my fall, my being rich, being poor, being rich, being poor, being taken advantage of, the whole thing. But the upshot of all of that was I never stole anything from anybody. I never conned anybody. I have a conscience that will not let me take money for anything where I don't think that I've given more value for that money. And I hate to say it, but that is a handicap in business. Not going for the throat in this world, not trying to get as much money out of somebody, like a used car dealer when he tries to sell you a car, is a handicap. You end up, as they say, nice guys finish last. And I always ran my business, and my business has succeeded because my customers appreciated me. But then things in the world change, the economies crash, technology changes, one thing always leads to another. And through no fault of my own, I lost a number of businesses and lost a lot of money, got divorced, and when I retired, I had no retirement. None. Nada. I have Social Security. That is my lot in life now, is to try to live on Social Security and do the best I can and try to just get myself a good life. Fortunately, I have a lot of skills and talents, and if I need to make a little extra money to make ends meet, I have things I can do, especially in web design, graphics design, computer stuff, things like that. But I'm 76 years old. I balance that with, I've busted my ass my whole life. I should be able to, at this time in my life, kind of slow down a little bit. I slowed down too much, and that wasn't good either, because I still consider myself young. I feel energetic and vibrant. I have a lot to offer. I sell my body at a nursing home. Thanks, Carlos. I'm going to block you from the chat. You keep that up. Where was I? Leave it to Carlos. We fixed the echo problem from last week, if any of you remember that. That was my fault. I promised Carlos I would tell everybody it was my fault. So there you go, Carlos. He's sitting back there in the green room, and he's going to stay there for a while. Back to what I was saying. So I'm living on Social Security, and I'm doing okay and making enough extra money to make ends meet. Maybe save a few $100 here and there. I have kids that are successful. I know I have a safety net, but God, who wants to rely on their children? In my world, children were supposed to rely on their parents. But it happened the way it happened. There was nothing that I could do about it. So when this opportunity to come up on YouTube hit me, I said, there's a way that I can make a little supplemental income doing this. Not a ton of money, but maybe enough to fill in the differences between what I get every month and what this inflation is doing to me, like it is everybody else. But I'm not going to become a salesman and pitch everything. And I've already turned down a dozen people who want me to sponsor their nonsense on my channel. And I don't want to ever come across like I expect people to donate to me because they feel sorry for me. There's no need to feel sorry for me. I've got a better life than every single other retirement person I know around me here, because they're all fat and sick. I don't care how much money they have. I wouldn't trade places with them for the world. To me, being healthy and no pain and no suffering is the only thing that's important as you go into retirement. And that's why I'm so adamant about trying to spread this message in the faces of the adversity that we suffer. But I have that Amazon. I'm going to do a shameful pitch here for Mitch's pocketbook. And that is, if you want to buy something like I use, buy it from my website or the Amazon links that are in the description. They'll pay me a small commission, and it doesn't come out of your pocket. And I don't want that. It doesn't come out of your pocket. It comes out of Jeff Bezos's pocket. He has to share a little of his profit. And I got news for you. Jeff Bezos has got enough money. You can do that. I had a number of people in the chats that said, boy, we'd love to buy old Guy Carnivore t-shirts. So I tried. I wanted to go with Amazon. They have a what they call merch on demand, where they'll print them up fast. They're reasonably priced, and you can return them and everything. I didn't qualify for some reason. And unfortunately, trying to deal with all of these big companies like YouTube or Google, or you know what it's like. Just, have you ever tried to call YouTube on the phone to talk about something that isn't right? You can't get through to anybody. You have online frequently asked questions that you can look at and see if something applies. And then you can send them emails and they take months, or it's crazy. You cannot deal with these people. They're too big. You can't even deal with small people anymore to get service, unfortunately, but it is what it is. So I'm hoping to get Amazon and get with Amazon on these t-shirts and hoodies and things like that. But I went ahead and went with another company that was one of the highest rated in the print on demand. None of this stuff is cheap. I don't care who you buy it from, but I did design 2 different t-shirts in a bunch of different colors and hoodies and everything. And I let it be known that they're there if somebody wants it. And you can go to oldguycarnivore.com. Here's another shameful pitch. oldguycarnivore.com and go to the store in the menu. There's a t-shirt store. Here, let me show you. Hang on a second here. Let's go to this, and let's take this and make it bigger, and we're going to go to oldguycarnivore.com, and up here it says Old Guy Merch Store. We go to the Old Guy Merch Store. Whoa, bright. And there they are. We've got two different t-shirts. We got one that says Old Guy Carnivore, and we have them in all these different colors. We have them in black, navy, maroon. They cost $28, and I wish they could be cheaper, but they're supposed to be the best quality t-shirt that this company called Bonfire makes. It takes about 10 days to get them because they print them all individually as they're ordered. And I make a small amount of money if you buy one of these things. So I figure, well, there's a way I could supplement my income a little bit because everybody said they wanted it. So they've been up for about 2 weeks now. Guess how many t-shirts that we've sold? One t-shirt. The first day I announced it, somebody bought one. I haven't seen anything since. But then I got an email from another viewer of mine that says, God, if you only had those hoodies in black, the hoodies, pullover hoodies in black, I'd buy one. So I went ahead and I went in and I actually designed the hoodies and made them in black, and then she said, I'm going to buy one of those, and that was that. And believe me, I don't want anybody to spend any money on this stuff if you don't want to. And if you don't want me to do this, I won't waste the time and energy trying to make all this stuff happen. Like I said, I don't want to force anything down anybody's throat, but I do have to figure out some way to earn a little money for the 80 plus hours a week that I spend doing this, because it basically has turned into a full-time job, unfortunately. And I enjoy it so much, and I enjoy the helping people part of it so much. But there are times when I have to help myself too a little bit. And I thought I would talk about this tonight. And if I drive people away, I'm sorry, but when I call my plumber out here, it's $500 to $1,000 every time he comes out and spends an hour and a half. And it seems sometimes when you get old and you feel irrelevant, it seems like everybody thinks their time is worth more than yours. And there are days when I have down days and say, I'm a talented guy. I'm not getting paid anything. Nobody thinks I'm worth anything. So that is something that I thought that I would talk about. Don't feel sorry for me. I have a great life. I can afford what I need. I smoke good cigars. I drive a nice car. I have 2 great kids. But what I want to do is I want to give to them, not take from them. So there it is. I did it. how many people I got? 84. I haven't scared you away. You don't say, oh, this guy's just like all the rest of them. There's one other thing that I can do, but let me thank Glazed Ham, who has given me a super sticker for $10, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's the kind of thing that really add up, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. It ain't a lot of money, but it's a lot of thought, and that's what's more important to me than money. I don't expect anybody to give me a lot of money. I have actually gotten some thank yous in the comments of some of the videos with a $5, $10. Some nice lady gave me $50 even with a thank you attached, and I had no idea that they were even there. And I happened on them one day, and I was so surprised to see that there is even a way to do that. But she did, and it bowled me over. It was very, very nice. So thank you so much. The other thing that I can do, but I don't really think I'm ready to do it yet, I think I need to give you guys a lot more. I hope I've given something, but I need to give you a lot more to show that it is worthwhile to be a part of this with me. And that's one of these private community things where people pay $5, $10 a month and they get all these different perks and stuff like that. I'm not ready to do that yet, but I'd like to know that if I come out and say, I think I want to do it, that you don't all get mad at me. That kind of thing is where, like Ken Berry does, where you get private live streams and chats, you get much better access, you get your comments looked at first. And I understand with Ken, people do it primarily because he's a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and I still have to come to terms with my conscience. Do I really have that much to offer anybody that would warrant a little, a few bucks to actually get better access to me? At this point, I still read every single comment that I get, try to answer any of them that actually require a comment. So that's where I stand. I wanted to get that out of the way. I appreciate anything you guys do. You buy t-shirts, you shop at Amazon on my links, throw me a super chat from time to time. Everything is appreciated. I don't need to make that much money. Believe it or not, with what I get on YouTube, if my views pick up, I will be exactly where I want to be in a very short period of time. And I won't have to go out and look for a job, God forbid. Okay, I was talking about censorship and ended up talking about money. What I don't know if you guys want to go through this with me or not, or sit through or have me do it, but I got a Google thing up here on the screen. It's sitting here next to the chat, which is okay. Randy K. Randy, I think, is my t-shirt guy. Let me see. Let me put you up there. Randy, there you go. Randy K. Yeah, Randy, I think you're the guy that bought my t-shirt. You're my hero, man, if you are. I think it was you. And if it was you, Randy, hang on to that t-shirt, man, because it may become highly collectible if nobody else ever buys one. I got one coming, so it may be that you and I have the only two of those in the world, and someday they might be worth $1 or $2 more than we paid for them. So anyway, thank you, Randy. I appreciate that so much. Where was I? Oh yeah, I've been playing around on the chats. So I went into Google. Now Google's supposedly the offending one, okay? And I typed in there keto diet Berg. And there's Berg, Eric Berg, Eric Berg, Eric Berg, Eric Berg. I mean, there is Eric Berg stuff all over the place. And that's on Google. So if you type in keto diet Berg, you're going to find his stuff. They have not taken his stuff down. They have not banned his stuff. or limited access to his stuff. But if you just type in keto diet, Eric Berg is nowhere to be found. So that, and as the biggest guy on YouTube in the keto food space with 11.2 million subscribers, you would think. So in that respect, yes, they've put him in the closet. But if you want to find him, you can find him. They're just not promoting him anymore, unfortunately. And yes, in that respect, he's correct. If, as far as the actual keto diet, if you type in keto diet benefits, and it's interesting to do these kind of searches. It's interesting to kind of monitor them and audit them sometimes and see exactly how much of an influence that they're actually putting in pretty much anything that you want. They are controlling the narrative and the actions of most of the population now simply by the search results that they return when people go in and search for something. But I put this keto diet benefits. There is evidence to suggest that a KD can help with weight loss, visceral adiposity, and appetite control. The evidence also suggests eating a high-fat diet improves lipid profiles by lowering LDL, increasing high-density LDL, or HDL, and lowering triglycerides. Well, that's the headline. And to me, that doesn't sound like it's a bad thing. I don't see, in this particular statement, I don't see but, it could cause heart attacks and cause your left leg to fall off. You know what I mean? That is a pleasant surprise for me. And Martin, actually, thank you so much. Old guys, yeah, we old guys need to. Man, look at your picture. We look like brothers from another mother, man. You got the bald head, the gray beard. Holy cow. Good looking guy, man. Martin. Good looking guy. Don't you think? Don't you all think? Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. On the past live streams that I had, that people actually did give me a couple of these things, I was very remiss in not thanking them. I thanked them, but I forgot to actually put it up on the screen. Oh man, see now you guys are going to make me cry. Swamp Ninja, or Swamp Ninja's puppy. Thank you so much. Thank you, man, or lady. I don't know if the Swamp Ninja is male or female. Thank you so much. Give me any more money, I'm going to feel like I say the word hooker, but no, you guys are great. I knew you guys were great because of the comments that I got. I just knew it. And thank you. Thank you, Swamp Ninja, again. That was more than generous. More than generous. And Victoria Cruz, thank you. Thank you so much. You can ask questions if you have to. I mean, that's primarily what people use these super stickers for, or the super chats for in these kind of live streams, is to make sure that the host notices their question, because if you're watching on the screen and you can see right over here how these things go by a lot, it's very hard when you're all spread out like this. When I've got all this stuff going on here, and I have to look over here, and just to show you what I did, because I missed the super chats from my last live stream, and I didn't get a chance to bring them up on the screen and personally thank people that actually helped me out a little. I actually have a separate window right over here. It's a chat window, and it's set to show me only the super chats and the super stickers. So I can't miss them, because normally I don't have that chat window directly in front of me. So thank you so much, Victoria, and Ellie B. Thank you so much. I'm hoping for a Mitch Stewart apron. You know, I was thinking about some coffee cups, and I would, you know, you guys participate in this with me. Participate and give me ideas for these things. I mean, I can make anything. This company that has, they do all kinds of stuff. They do coffee cups. They do hoodies and sweatshirts and T-shirts, and I think that I can't wait for mine. The problem is, I wish it was Amazon because you can get it in a day or two. But yeah, I can picture an old guy apron. That'd be funny. That'd be great. I see Sandra says I should put my PayPal on the info because you get most money donated. I know YouTube they take 30%. Okay, and I don't actually, I actually don't think that that's unreasonable. A lot of guys think that it's stupid, that it's too much money and everything else, that they do take a portion of super chats and they do get paid for ads. And yes, they make a lot of money. But there is no other place on the planet where I can upload terabytes of videos, have the reach to billions of people in the world with a message, and not have to pay 1 penny for that. I mean, I've known that for years, and I've always known that if I had to try to put together servers, and it would cost me millions of dollars to try to do what YouTube lets me do for free. So I'm happy as long as they don't mess with me and mess with my message. I am happy to be a YouTube partner because I would not be able to do this any other way. So YouTube, I'm happy to be able to pay you some for the use of the equipment, the infrastructure, the bandwidth, and the reach. And I'll go on the record as saying that I have no feelings that they're cheating me or they're greedy. Now, if they were taking 70%, that'd be a different story. But 30%, I think, is very, very reasonable, and I'm very happy to let them take it. I don't have to pay their employees to develop all these tools. And all that goes assuming that they don't screw with our message. And as far as the drop, and I'll finish this up now because I can go all night like this. As far as the drop in my viewership, I have not noticed a similar drop on many of the similar sized channels to me, and even some of the bigger channels, where 2,000 to 5,000 views on a video is pretty normal. And if you look at even Sean Baker's puts out 4 or 5 very short videos a day, he gets 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 views. When they come out with something monumental, they might get 50 or 100,000 views. I got to take LAB's name down. But by and large, my view counts now with 12,000 subscribers are pretty much in line with the other guys. And did I miss somebody's super chat? No, I don't think so. Okay. It's pretty much in line with most of the other guys' channels. And I think for me, where I started to see my drop-off was when I became monetized. I think that as a new thing, YouTube gave me a real push. They were giving me 10 times the number of impressions that I get now on an average video. And I'm not doing anything that much different. They were giving me, one of my videos has 1.5 million impressions on it and 150,000 views. And I went back and looked at my diagnostics and and analytics, and I don't get nearly that kind of reach from them anymore. And I think I got that kind of reach when I wasn't making them any money. I think that's pretty standard for them. I've seen it on other channels. They push the hell out of people to get them to the point where they are monetized. And then now YouTube could start making money off of their videos. And they kind of put it into a different gear after that. And I think that's what happened. And I think that I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's grown so much faster than I ever thought it would. And if I can continue to not be naive, because I think I'm too observant at this point in my life for naivety to creep in all of a sudden. I understand the shadow banning. I understand all of that stuff as something that's not new for anybody with a message that goes contrary to the new world, the big world order's message of how it's supposed to be and all. I want to be in the fight. I don't want to fight to the death, but I want to be in the fight and doing what I can to bring some sanity back to the world and some health back to the people and make myself enough extra money that I can not worry about paying bills and continue to afford to buy a good cigar when I feel like smoking a cigar. So that's probably enough for the censorship and the Google searches. I did, well, one last note, I did try to, I have Firefox. I have the Firefox browser, and I'm still showing the back of my head. Somebody tell me in the chat to push the button, okay? There we go. Sorry about that. I wanted this button. There. I told you I have too many buttons. I hope you guys you really got familiar with my bald head in that last 5 minutes. But here is the Firefox browser with the DuckDuckGo search engine. These are from Mozilla, which is an organization that doesn't bow to anybody. They do not try to learn everything they can about you. They're not in the advertising business. The search engine results are not saved. They don't store profiles on you. A lot of people use Firefox and DuckDuckGo because Big Brother isn't watching them. So I put in that search engine, Keto Dr. Berg. And right up top, I got 3 of his videos. But what I also got was all of his supplements from Amazon and Walmart. And I mean, he got a big play on here, okay? And if you really want to search for something without the influence of somebody like Google, you can even use the DuckDuckGo search engine in the Chrome browser, but the Chrome browser is going to still capture an awful lot of what you're doing, whereas this Firefox doesn't. I don't use this regularly because most of what I interact with is Google stuff, including especially YouTube. But if there's times when I want to search for something that maybe it's something political, maybe it's something I don't want anybody knowing about, and it's not what you think. I know what you're all thinking, but it's not that. I'll use the Firefox browser and the DuckDuckGo search engine. So that is that. Where were we? Okay. I haven't said hi to everybody in the chat. So hi, everybody in the chat. I think it's a little late to go back and individually say hello to everybody, but thanks for coming. Good to see you all. I hope we haven't bored the hell out of you. And if I don't have anything else on my list here. Oh, another thing I wanted you to do, if you wouldn't mind, and I have no I have no ulterior motive, but where is it here? On my website, on the home page, down at the bottom, I have a place where you can just put your email address in. It's at oldguycarnivore.com. It says join our mailing list, because one of these days I plan on, when things really settle down, I plan on doing some a little newsletter, recipe, something, just to mail out. But I had a thought that if something does happen on YouTube, and I am mirroring my stuff on Rumble, but Rumble, if you want a real laugh, I'll show you something. I mean, this is just going to show you. When you go to Rumble and go to, you're not going to find me anywhere in here, but if I go to my account overview, I have like 40 videos on Rumble right now. And they're all monetized. And I have earned a grand total of 18 cents. Right there. 18 cents. I didn't expect to earn any money when I started putting all my stuff on Rumble. But I have every one of my videos up there. All of them. See that? They're all there. And they're all monetized, because you don't have to have any particular number of viewers or anything to be monetized. And they actually pay twice the rate for their ads that YouTube does, almost twice per click. But they have nobody watching, unfortunately. They have people watching the big political guys that are on there, but the little guys like me with Carnivore wouldn't stand a chance at this point with Rumble. And for me, I'm not asking anybody to go to Rumble or watch this stuff on Rumble. It doesn't do any good. It's there in case YouTube just blows us up, which I don't say will never happen. And the reason that I wanted to ask you guys to put your, if you're interested in following me around, if I do end up somewhere else, then go to the homepage of this website. This email, put your name on that, your email address on that list. Doesn't even ask your name. It's just an email address. It sits on my server. It goes nowhere. Nobody gets to use it. Nobody gets to look at it. The sole purpose of this at this point, down the road, it's for a newsletter. But at this point, if something does happen, I can blast out an email to everybody that wants to know what happened to me and say, this is where you can find me now. That's all. So that's no pressure. If you want to do that, that's fine. If not, that's up to you. I don't blame you if you don't. I hate giving out my email address all over the place either. So that takes care of that. Back to me. Anything else? No, that's enough. Okay. So let's address some questions if anybody has any, and just put, thank you, Kenny. Kenny says it's a good idea to start, just to start collecting them. I got that idea from Steven Crowder when he got banned from YouTube, and he split up with, was it Glenn Beck's organization? At any rate, it was not a friendly deal, and they would not allow him access to all of his subscribers. So he went on and basically said, if you want to know what happens to me, go to my website and put your email address in. And I did. And months later, I actually got an email from him telling me his plans and that he was going to Rumble and starting his own thing. And he did. And he's probably one of the biggest guys on Rumble with millions of subscribers over there. So Rumble is getting its share of the of viewers. It's just not the little guys with the unknown channels. I made 18 cents. And I still can't get my 18 cents because I think you have to get to a certain amount of money before they'll send you anything. I think it's $10 or $100 or something like that. So that's that. I'm going to bring Carlos in here with his crystal clear, non-echoing microphone.
Good evening.
And he can say hello.
Hello, everyone. No echo. You have a few questions out there.
I do. Okay. And can everybody hear Carlos okay, or does he need to turn his volume up?
They can hear my big mouth. Anyway, somebody has a question about what do you do with the grease when you cook a 70-30 burger? Do you use it or do you save it?
No, well, that's going to be beef tallow, and you can save it. I mean, it depends how creative you are and how you think ahead. Sometimes I'll line up my meals. If I'm going to need a frying pan full of beef tallow for dinner to cook what I'm going to eat at dinner, I might cook the burgers at lunch and just throw a little cover over the pan until dinner and then reheat it up. And that way I don't have to deal with it. If I'm going to throw it away, what I do is I'm going to make myself a little bigger, Carlos, because I'm the star. Okay?
Yeah, I think you should.
All right.
Keep me in the corner somewhere.
What I do with it is I don't want to pour it down the drain. So I go ahead and I take some paper towels, and I go through a lot of paper towels, but I think paper towels are relatively cheap. I try to wipe as much of it out of the pan with some paper towels. And I don't have a garbage disposal. I don't like garbage disposals. All they end up doing is cause plumbing problems, and I don't like to throw garbage in my trash can. So I keep all the old Ziploc bags that I use for something or other, and I'll take a Ziploc bag and I'll use it for the day's garbage. So if I do wipe the pan out with that, I'll put the greasy paper towel along with any food scraps or anything else in these Ziploc bags and put them under the sink and throw them out at the end of the day. And that way I don't have to deal with the garbage or the grease. If it's bacon grease, I have that little stainless steel thing I got on Amazon that strains the grease and keeps it. I am currently literally swimming in bacon grease. I end up throwing half of it out because I just don't know I keep saving it. I don't know what to do with all that stuff. I try to use it in cooking, but most of the foods that I cook come with their own fats in them, so I don't need to add a lot of fat to almost anything. I like the taste of a steak seared in butter as opposed to bacon grease. I did use a little bacon grease today. You'll see in an upcoming video, one of my kitchen walk and talk things, that I had a prep day where I prepped some ribs and some more of the beef, and I ended up with 4 half racks of ribs, fully cooked but not finished, not browned yet. And I ate one of them for lunch today, and I put I actually took a knife and spread bacon fat all over the top of it, and I put it in the air fryer, 400 degrees for 12 minutes, and boy, it came out great. And those things were fall off the bone. And you'll see that in this video, but it's still in the can. I haven't gotten around to finishing it and putting it out there, but that's going to be one of the videos coming out shortly. You seem to like the walk and talk videos in the kitchen. That consensus is people like that format, and I'm still so new at this that I'm trying to hone in on the format and the type of videos that most people want to watch, and not only can get information from, but also be somewhat entertained as well, because that's important. Just watching me sit in front of a microphone and talk is not the same as follow me around the kitchen watching me cook. There's kind of an entertainment value. I've heard that from a number of people. Even my own daughter said she likes that the best. So don't stop telling me what you guys want. It's important that I know that I'm not just doing what I want to do. I'm doing what people want to see me do, because that's the name of the game. That's what makes somebody successful in this space and in this genre. So yeah, that's what I do. I just basically wipe it out real good so that when I finally do wash it out with hot water and soap, very little of the grease goes down the drain. Next question, Carlos.
Well, back to his name is Papa's Official Channel. He's been asking a question. He has edema every now and then after eating, and he's wondering, is it too much salt, or you have to go up a little bit. I have to read again. And the Sanjay, as far as the 70-30, he was saying when you cook it and you only eat the beef, then it's all beef. I guess the grease on the 30% fat sticks to the meat. Is that fair to say?
There's a lot of, even if you cook out a lot of fat, there's still plenty of fat in the meat. And if you want to get a little more, you can even pour some of that fat from the pan over the burgers. Makes them juicier.
Right.
But you still get plenty of fat from a 70-30 burger, even after the fat cooks out, and as long as you don't just cook them until they're like hockey pucks. Now, the edema thing, I had, for a couple short spurts in my life, I did have some swollen ankles. I had some edema, but nothing as bad as what I've seen these people in the community where I live. I live in a retirement community where most of the people, including the women, weigh twice what I weigh. Not just a little more than me. I'm talking about big people. They're retired. They don't know how to get from point A to and point B other than in a golf cart. They lay around the pool like beach whales all day. Sorry if any of you guys are listening. They don't want to know anything about being healthy, about diet. They only want to know where we're going to eat dinner and where we're going to eat dessert and then where we're going to go drink it afterwards. We're retired. We don't have to worry about anything. Most of them are in their 60s, believe it or not. They look 20, 30 years older than me, and they all tell me, I stay away from them. I have nothing in common with those people. But when they do see me, they all tell me that I don't look good because I'm way too skinny. I'm talking about
a fat person that says that to you.
Yeah. I'm talking about people that look like they're carrying triplets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too.
I'm too skinny. I'm too skinny. Yeah. And they're all sick. They all spend half of their time in doctors' waiting rooms and in line at the drugstore, and they eat everything that's wrong. And I've tried to talk to a couple of them. I actually did. It was before I learned to keep my mouth shut and not try to help people that really don't want help. You cannot force this on anybody. It's hard enough to nag your relatives about it, but if you keep talking to these people who don't want to hear it, they will ostracize you. They will spread the word. Don't talk to that guy. He'll start talking about your health and he'll, annoy the hell out of you. So I learned that in a couple of places and I just stopped. And I did have one or two of them that came to me and said, wow, what have you done? You look great. I told them, oh, I want to do that too. The longest one lasted like 3 days on it. After telling me that how strong-willed he was and he can do anything he wants and he's got the, he's the kind of guy, if he says he's going to do something, you can put money on it. I mean, he really went out of his way to tell me how he was going to succeed. 3 days later, I saw him at the swimming pool eating Doritos and some other shit. So it's the last I ever said to him. I mean, I knew that was going to happen because food addiction is just that hard when you're a food addict, and we're all food addicts. Everybody that's ever tried to lose weight and failed and gone off the wagon is a food addict. That should be the definition of food addiction. And you guys all know how I feel about food addiction. I think it's one of the biggest problems in our country. Now, the swollen ankles, I can't tell you whether it's the salt. I don't know anything. I don't know that much about you. I don't know if how heavy you are. I don't know whether your circulation is good. I don't know how your vein situation is. And fluids puddling in your ankles can be from any of those things. It can be from poor circulation, varicose veins. It can be anything, and it could be from too much salt. So is this something new that's just happened to you after you started the carnivore diet?
Yeah, I think he said 1.5 weeks into it. He also has brain fog, he mentioned up earlier.
Is this
Maybe
it?
if he wants to retype. His name is Papa's official YouTube
Yeah, I see
channel.
that.
Yeah.
Somebody at LEB said, could it be potassium and not the salt? It could be, because I used to get very swollen after eating high salt on a carb diet, and until I downed 2 gallons of water. So it could be a lot of things. It could be potassium. It could be any of the mineral salts can do that. And I the only advice that I can give you, not being a doctor or anything, and just having experience of what I did, and I still don't know why my ankles swelled up so much when they did, but I think it was the salt. I was not on carnivore at the time. This was many years ago. And I went down to the Dominican Republic for a few days. And when I got back, my ankles were swollen up like balloons. And I can only imagine that whatever it was I ate down in the Dominican Republic was just loaded with salt. But they went away. It went away pretty quick. I don't have any problem with that now, but I did notice if I do overdo it on electrolytes in a particular day, I'm not going to say my ankles get swollen, but they're not as skin and bone like as they usually are. In other words, I can see the smallest amount of puffiness down there right before I go to bed. If I've had what I think is maybe too much electrolytes in the day. So that would be probably my best guess. And you just have to experiment around and see what happens. Okay, what else did I miss, Carlos?
Didn't miss, just more comments about what he was going through. He actually wrote again, I had it before with too much salt. You see that? On a
carb diet, but carnivore made it better. If I don't drink that much water, my edema gets worse and worse until I get brain fog. I get dehydrated. Well, then you just stay hydrated. That's for sure. And I can only think that you just have to experiment a little bit. Up the electrolytes, down the electrolytes. And I mean, as much as I don't have much respect for doctors, they are a necessary evil. Especially if something doesn't appear right, or you have, or you. There are times I still go to the VA once a year. I get a physical. I don't get a physical because I'm looking for somebody to tell me how to live. Because I want to get my blood work. I want to see what my lipids are. I want to make sure that I missed something. We may be carnivores and we may be healthy, but we're not immortal. We can still get sick, and we can still need doctors. So if you can't seem to get a handle on that, Papa, see what your doctor says. If you think he's full of crap, you don't have to listen to him, but at least you're covered on that department. And I don't hesitate to tell somebody to see a doctor, because Ken Berry tells people to see doctors all the time, and he knows when it's past the time to be self-diagnosing when you're not a doctor. And so I think that might be a good idea. I don't know what conditions
some form
you have.
of exercise, I would think, maybe to get some sweat going. I don't know.
You can't say you can't say that, Carlos, because
No?
we none of us know enough about what.
No, I'm saying like even just walking.
Can't say that.
No?
Don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I just don't know. I wish I did. What else we got here? Suffered half my life with hereditary lymphedema till I cut out the carbs. Yeah, and you've been on it. How long did he say he was on it? A week and a half?
1.5 weeks, yep.
Yeah, you haven't even been on it long enough for any kind of real changes to be taking effect. And it may just be your body trying to figure out what the hell you're doing to it. I find that I'm best when drinking water. I previously went to my doctor and he said to load up on sodium, that's salt, which didn't help. Before, his advice was completely wrong and he wasn't open to it. Well, good old doctors. Oh, David Desaulnier says he's becoming a sparkling water addict, and with that, I will take a sip of my fabulously sophisticated San Pellegrino from Italy.
I heard long term with that is it can, with the acid, it messes with your teeth. You hear anything like that?
Listen, my teeth are so far gone, unfortunately. That's why you don't see me showing them off a lot. With all the cigars I've smoked in my life, with all the coffee I drank, and with all the berries and grapes and all that other staining fruit that I ate, a number of years ago I decided that I'm going to go and get my teeth professionally whitened. This was a lot of years ago. I'm talking about maybe 25, 30. This is before they sold all this teeth whitening crap at the drugstore. So they basically ruined the enamel on my bottom teeth with these chemicals they were trying to use. And down at the bottom on the gum line, I have almost no enamel. My tooth is just bone, which stains dark. And there's nothing you can do about it other than have veneers put on. And I even had somebody comment about, you're so healthy, how come your teeth are rotten? Well, actually, my teeth are perfect. They're perfectly healthy. They're all mine. I have no cavities. They're strong. My gums are perfect. I have no gum disease. I just have the lack of my enamel got damaged, and it's just not going to get white unless I do something drastic to it. Do I care about whether I can dazzle somebody with a big white grin? Not really. I mean, I care more about the health of my teeth, and I go every 4 months to my dentist, and I get a thorough cleaning, and I have some stuff I clean them with myself just to get some of that, try to lighten up some of that darker color, because if you don't have enamel on your teeth, they stain and they stay stained. So if anybody says, God, a guy's got bad teeth, they're not bad, they're great. I have all my teeth, see? They're all there. They're just on the bottom, they had terrible dark around the gum line because there's no enamel down there. And so now you know why I don't have that news anchor smile that everybody has, and why I get a little skittish when somebody, especially a medical professional, comes at me with some new treatment for anything. I usually end up coming out worse than when I went in. So, oxalate dumping, Christine Cooper says. I don't know if that shows up as swelling. I had a nice little round of oxalate dumping through my skin. It stopped, but I had tiny little sores pop up on my skin. It was the craziest thing. Little tiny sores, and they had a little blister or something, and they didn't itch or anything, but you'd go ahead and you'd just kind of scratch it just a little bit, and I found that when I scratched it, they broke open, and inside of each one of those little sores was an amber-colored shard of what looked like glass, and it was tiny, like a flea size, so tiny that I got a jeweler's loop out to look at it and see what it was, and that was oxalate, and my body was trying to get rid of it. And the fact that I used to eat all of these so-called superfoods. How many times have you heard that? Spinach is a superfood. Chocolate, almonds, all the highest oxalate foods on the planet. And it's not good enough to just eat them. You need to put them in a blender and make liquid out of them. So that way you can actually get down 10 times as much of this poison as you would if you just ate the raw nuts, chocolate, and spinach. And those are those green smoothies that they keep telling all these people to drink and how good they are for them. And they're taking the stuff that's already poison and they're concentrating it 10 times better and telling people to drink it. It's going to make them healthy. And there you go. Be a vegan if you want to.
I have a question for the people watching. How many of them watched the 2.5-hour video that you suggested? I did.
I think a lot of people did. I got a lot of comments about that. It was a monumentally great interview.
What was the man's name? Chafee and who?
Gary Fettke.
Fettke,
yeah.
Him and his wife.
Him and his wife
also.
What they've been through, what the world and the medical community put them through was so shameful. Here's a guy that was a surgeon, just wanted to help people, was telling people to be on a low-carb diet, and they set him up. It wasn't even a real complaint. It was a manufactured complaint by somebody that was working on behalf of organizations that didn't want people to stop eating sugar.
Garbage.
That's our competition. They got everybody addicted to sugar. It's like a cartel. They're no better than the drug cartels. They get these people hooked on their drug, and then they do every underhanded, dirty trick to try to ruin the reputation and the lives of anybody that goes against their message that sugar is a poison for the human body and we shouldn't be eating sugar. And there's so many reasons why, and they all make sense. Not just the damage that's done, but the fact that sugar has been a part of animals and mammals' diets, but the part that the plant matter and the fruit and the sugar has always played is that of survival food. And there's a term you don't hear often enough, but that's what it is. Sugar has saved a lot of species and a lot of individual animals and our predecessors from dying because it did provide energy, but it wasn't providing the energy that our machinery actually mainly evolved to run on. That's why we have some of these different pathways. And the storage of this energy in the body is wildly different. Our fat, which is our main fuel, we store long term in tanks, which are our fat cells, so that they can be filled up and emptied and filled up and emptied and filled up and emptied and used as needed. The sugar that we eat is temporarily stored, not permanently. It's temporarily stored in the liver and in the muscles as glycogen, and it's a short-term fuel, and it's a survival food. And the biggest difference between eating the two different types of fuel is that the appropriate long-term fuel turns off your hunger and turns on your satiety. Which is why when you sit down and eat fatty meat, after a short period of time, you say, before you get bloated, before you get stuffed, before you get uncomfortable, you know you had enough. Because the hormones are doing what they're supposed to. The ghrelin went away. The leptin is flowing. Your brain is seeing the leptin and it says, stop eating. When you eat sugar, which has traditionally in our genetic past been survival food, our whole body is in a whole different mode. And that mode is one of shortage of the real food we're supposed to eat. So the tendency is to want to get as much of this survival food into us as possible while we can still get it. So when we eat the survival food, a different response comes from our hormones, and that is increases our appetite, puts us in gorge mode, puts it in eat it till it's gone, and takes the whole satiety thing right out of the equation. And that's why you can't stop eating spaghetti, you can't stop eating pasta, you can't stop eating cake, you can't stop eating any of that stuff, because your body thinks you're loading up on sugar because there's no real food around. It doesn't know that there's a 7-Eleven, doesn't know that this stuff's available 24 hours a day deep down in the genetic code that runs all this machinery. It doesn't know that. It just knows what it sees. And when it sees sugar, it assumes we better get as much of this as we can. And back in the old days, in the prehistoric days, not only humans, but animals, when they came across a beehive or they came across a bush full of berries, they would strip it bare. They left nothing. But an animal that eats meat, like a lion, will only eat certain parts of the meat, and mostly the fat and the organs, and leave because it's satiated. Nobody leaves carbs on a plate. They only leave the meat on a plate. They always manage to scarf up all the sugary stuff. And it's understandable why that happens. Okay, where are we?
Mitch, what kind of cheese is, I know you don't eat cheese, but if you're a carnivore and you want cheese, it's hard cheese?
They say a high-fat cheese, a hard cheese. There's a lot of
two
cheese.
suggestions for Papa.
I'm not a cheese expert. I've never liked cheese. I eat, the only cheese I really like is Swiss cheese, and Swiss cheese is a cheese made with skim. I like mozzarella cheese because I liked pizza, but that's still a skim cheese.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have the milk. You want to have the high-fat cheeses. I think...
Better cheese, blue cheese?
I don't know. I know nothing about cheese because I don't like it. Don't ask me why I don't like it. I had strange eating habits as a kid.
Gotcha. Baby Bell, I don't know about that one.
I don't know either. All I know is there's a lot of things in milk.
Right.
I agree that milk is for babies in nature. You don't see any adult animal other than humans drinking milk.
Well, I've told you, I used to drink a gallon every 2 days. I could probably go through 3 gallons in a week.
Well,
now I do nothing. In 2 weeks, I've had 1 gallon, and now I don't even buy it anymore.
But that's what I said. Milk is for babies, Carlos. I said that.
Yeah, well, I used to be a baby. I guess I grew up.
Yeah, but no, milk is designed, mother's milk especially, to keep a baby in ketosis, because babies are born in ketosis. They're burning fat. The mother's milk gives them what they need to continue to burn the fat and grow and put on weight, which is something you don't want to do when you're an adult. You don't want to eat and drink the things that are designed to put weight on, and certainly milk is, and it's all lactose.
Oh, man, but I would drink it like water. It's amazing.
Well, it's what you get used to.
Not anymore.
It's what you get used to. I used to drink milk before I started. I don't drink milk anymore, but I eat various cheeses. Everybody is going to have to fine-tune this thing for themselves. And I think it's all pretty safe if it has no carbs. And the less plant material you eat, I think the better off you are. And to me, it just seems so obvious. It just seems to make so much sense. What are we made? What are we? We're meat. We're red meat. We are meat. Doesn't it make sense to you that when you want to rebuild what you're made of, you use the same building materials? You know, if a brick falls out of your brick wall, what are you going to put in the hole? An ice cream cone? No, you're going to put another brick in the wall. You're going to use what it's built out of. It just doesn't make any sense to me that people can't seem to understand that simple fact. How can anything that is made of exactly the same stuff that we're made of be bad for us? And how can plants, which is a whole different life form, for God's sakes, how can that be good for us? Our body tries to replace the animal versions of molecules with the plant versions of molecules, and that's where the trouble starts, because while they may be very similar, they're not identical. I don't want that plant crap in my body anymore after I learned at a really complicated biochemistry level how these plants were taking the place, especially the sterols, the plant sterols, were replacing what cholesterol was supposed to do, which make up the cell walls of every one of our cells. One of the things that you notice when you've been on, and it takes years to get that plant shit out of you. When you stop eating plants, that stuff will hang around in your body for years. It takes years to get oxalates out of you once your body has stored that stuff up in every place it can find a place to put it out of the way. You cannot. We are turning ourselves into plants by eating plants, and it doesn't work. It creates all of these problems, and sugar is unfortunately one of the biggest problems. The seed oils have a whole different set of problems. But how can you go wrong eating the stuff that you're built of? I don't understand the logic of anybody that can actually argue that replacing the raw materials that I'm made of now with exactly or the same raw materials, the same amino acids, the same vitamins and minerals that are used to build the tissue that I have, can somehow not be the proper thing to do, especially with all the evidence that we've been doing it since the beginning of time. And before humans, our ancestors were doing it. There are certain animals that are built to eat plants, and their job is to turn those plants into meat for those of us that happen to be at the top of the food chain, which is where we found ourselves.
That's what I heard recently. A guy said that all the the stuff that we eat are herbivores. They don't actually eat meat. They eat plants. Beef, pig, lamb, chicken.
There's so much fraud. There's so much, Carlos. There's so much fraud going on. There's so many lies and propaganda that's wrong.
Do cows eat meat?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
But pigs do. But pigs eat everything. But pigs are monogastric. You know, cows are ruminant. Most people don't know what
they have a few stomachs compared to one.
Well, it's a whole different digestive tract. Yeah. They can both, you know, there's omnivores, there's herbivores, and a cow is a herbivore. A pig is an omnivore. A chicken is an omnivore that leans towards a carnivore. Chickens, I heard a story about a chicken. Somebody, I don't know where I heard it today on one of these videos, and somebody was saying that they saw a chicken chasing after a rat, and that poor rat, what the chicken did to that rat was terrible. Chickens like meat. They like worms and grubs. When you feed these people inappropriate diets, and the best way to convince yourself that we really know what the appropriate diets are, and most of the crap that you hear that questions what we know as the appropriate diet is only applies to humans and the stuff that humans buy in the grocery store. And if you don't believe me, take a bag of popcorn and go to any zoo and find the zookeeper and tell her you want to feed this popcorn to the lion. And she'll look at you like, that'll kill the lion. It'll make the lion sick. Because it's true. It's not the appropriate food for a lion. And the people that know that are the zookeepers. Another bunch of people that know what's appropriate and what isn't are the chemists that work in the companies that make the animal feeds. Because they're the guys that know that any animal that eats grain is going to get fat.
That's what they actually do on purpose to
fatten up cows. That's how they fatten up cows.
Also the fatty liver for the geese?
For the geese. Yeah, they feed them grains. Grains are sugar. Grains make you...
they call that, right?
Yeah, foie gras. The grains make you fat. So if they make a cow fat and they make a goose liver fat and give a goose fatty liver, which unfortunately we humans are getting at alarming rates, why wouldn't they do the same thing to a human being? They will. But these people are making too much friggin' money and they are not going to admit it, and they're going to use every dirty trick in the book, and the minions of people that they've got so brainwashed that they actually believe the crap they're spewing out there in the world about why we shouldn't eat meat and why everybody should be eating nothing but vegetables and be a vegan. It's not the only thing people got wrong, but it's maybe one of the more dangerous things when you look at the health of the people out there. So what's the answer? Stuff that Sean Baker keeps showing on his channel, like the
crazy vegans,
or the big and beautiful set, you know.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
The big and beautiful, yeah. You people, there's something wrong with you people that you don't recognize how beautiful it is for us to weigh 400 pounds. You need to make. I saw one the other day. I was laughing my ass off. Airlines need to make the airline seats wider. And
can you imagine?
In other words, these people who weigh 400 pounds and can't get out of bed are demanding that the entire world rebuild. Doorways have to be wider in all the government buildings, and toilet seats have to be able, and chairs have to be built to support more weight. And I mean, they're standing there and just going down a litany of demands of the entire world needs to rebuild itself to accommodate their ass because they can't stop stuffing their face. And they feel justified. And they feel victimized. And it's everybody else's fault but theirs. Where is the day when you could just look at somebody like that, grab them and smack him in the face and say, snap out of it? You know, are you crazy? Can't do that anymore. You do that, you've hurt their
hate speech.
You've hurt their feelings, Carlos.
Oh gosh.
And I got to tell you, murder is not the worst thing, the crime anymore. Rape is not the worst crime anymore. The worst crime on the planet now is hurting somebody's feelings.
It's so sad.
Yeah, you need to be put to death when you hurt somebody's feelings. The rest of you guys, I'm going to send you out on bail. You murderers, rapists, drug pushers, you're okay, but God, don't hurt anybody's feelings. That's how friggin' politically correct we're supposed to be.
You know, I actually saw one of these extensions for seatbelts. It's like a male-female that they add.
Yeah. Hey, Chad is here. Minimalist Carnivore. You guys, I'm going to point this out in the chat. Minimalist Carnivore's got a great channel. His name is Chad. He's been on Carnivore for 3.5 years. Has good stuff. I watch his stuff. If you want to subscribe to somebody else that's got a level head on him, and he'd be a good guy to subscribe to. You hear that, Chad? Now tell your guys to subscribe to me.
Yikes.
Thanks and hello. We love Dubai pans. Yeah, we got that in common. I'll tell you, man, it's the only way to cook. I have cast iron pans. I never use them. They're too big and heavy, and they're too rough on the bottom. You get yourself a Dubayer, that's how it's pronounced, or Debayer, for those of you that are not sophisticated and drink San Pellegrino. It's the only way to cook, especially searing a steak. God, I love that pan. And once it gets seasoned, it's incredible.
I thought that video would have inspired you with the Chafee, because the way he said, it just takes 2 or 3 fish to make the whole school change direction.
Well, yeah, it does, but unfortunately, everything in this world, I mean, in everything, especially politics, especially the globalists. Everybody wants to be in charge. I mean, this shit is right out of a James Bond movie.
It's evil, personally.
It is absolutely evil and sick. And
Bill Gates is part of that too,
He is. We're supposed to be there's supposed to be freedom in this country, but we are so clamped down. We don't dare say it. We don't dare say anything that might offend somebody, because everybody's feelings are more important than our freedom. And we got to change it somehow. The problem is, where do you go? Where do you stump? Where do you stand? Get up on a stump and start spreading the word. YouTube is as close as we've got, and we try to do it. And by and large, I mean, they're not stopping me. I'm talking this stuff right now. But somewhere there's some little 18-year-old girl that probably thinks that it'd be a good thing when this old guy finally dies and stops ruining the world, talking about eating meat and everything. And you can't help that, because how would they know anything else? Because this is where they get all their reality from, right here. Every day, all day. They don't realize it. They may as well be in a pod connected to the Matrix, because that is the way they're living. It's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. At any rate, I could complain about that. It's not going to help anything. We just need to live our lives, do the best we can, look out for ourselves, eat meat as long as we can get it. I think what we need to do is put the fear of God in some of these vegans. And I will preface this by saying, I should tell you afterwards, but I'm going to tell you before, unless somebody take it the wrong way. But I'm just kidding, of course, when I say this. But wouldn't it be cool if we could get them to actually believe that if they took our meat away, we'd be coming after them, because they are, in essence, nothing but meat. So
cannibalism.
So
gosh.
if they, and I mean, I thought about that. And, it reminded me of some of these old movies, like with Soylent Green, they turn humans into this stuff. Yeah, Eat the Rich. Yeah, and if we could get them to believe that if they take our meat away, that we're going to be looking in their direction, maybe they'd stop,
I remember a while ago you said not to talk too much about the carnivore diet, because then they're going to be taking our meat.
Oh, God. Meantime, we can still buy meat. It's expensive, but everything's expensive. Yeah, he's the one with the meat cake. Yeah. Yeah. I hope I have this sick sense of humor, as you see, and I hope I never lose it. Sometimes I still
That's what
get
keeps
down.
you sane, right?
Yeah, I guess. I was down today. I talked to Carlos this afternoon, and
you were upset.
I was upset because I got a couple of comments that weren't really all that. Yeah, Soylent Green is people, correct? Not they weren't that nasty, but they were they were just scolding me or correcting me or disagreeing with me in a manner that, like this one woman said to me, "You're naive." Well, it just pissed me off. I'm not naive. I'm the least naive person on the planet Earth.
What was she saying you were naive about?
About thinking that YouTube isn't going to eliminate all the carnivore and keto people. It was in response to on Berg's video, I said, I think we're okay for a while and all that. She says I'm naive, as if she knows something I don't know.
Right.
And I doubt that. Part of my attitude on that is the fact that even if I know something's hopeless, I still try to stay positive. That's very healthy for you, to be hopeful.
If you lose hope, that's bad.
You have to be
that's
hopeful.
Really bad.
You have to be positive. The glass half full,
yep,
glass half empty analogy is so true. So true. And it's so easy to get beaten down, especially as you get older, as your situation in life changes, as things become more expensive and you can't afford them because things are out of control. It's tough to, and everything starts to hurt, and you end up spending more time in the doctor's office than you do at home. You have to. It's hard. It gets harder and harder to keep your attitude, to stay happy, and laughing is the best way to do that. Find something that's funny. Take a break and just laugh at it. I think before we overstay our welcome here, Carlos, I'm going to call it a night after an hour and a half. And once again, I thank all you nice people that donated to the cause tonight, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and watched, and all the questions that we got, and you put up with me rambling for an hour and a half.
Mr. J.R.C. is around. All right, so let me say good night, and then you can do your good night and stuff.
That'd be great.
Everyone have a good night. Mr. J.R.C., I see you there. Hello and goodbye. I'm out. And no echo today.
No, we did good. I told you. I told him it was my fault. I had a setting on my mixer that was echoing it back. So.
All right, well, have a good night, everyone, and you, Mr. Mitch, have a good evening. We'll talk.
Okay, thanks, Carlos.
Be well.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and again, that leaves just me. Thank you all so much for coming, and if you don't forget, go to the website, put your email address down in there, so if worse comes to worse, I know how to contact all of you that can put up with me. I mean, just knowing where the people are that'll put up with you is a plus in this world. So I'd appreciate that. If you think you're going to buy something like the pots and pans we talk about, or any of those little appliances, I appreciate it if you do it on my Amazon links. Doesn't cost you any more, and I get to take some of Jeff Bezos's money. I'm going to stop being ashamed to ask for that stuff. I don't know why I hate to, but I'm going to do it. I appreciate all the help I got tonight from everybody. Very appreciated. And any ideas that you have of videos you think that might be fun for me to make, let me know. Let me know. I'm always looking for new ideas and things that you'd like to watch. I hope you all saw my Bart K interview. I had a ball doing that with Bart. That was my first outing. It was one of the rare times where Bart didn't get to say very much, but that's just me. I don't make any bones about that. And then I went on with Larry on the Carnivore Soldier, went on their live stream, and he has a live stream every Wednesday night, and a lot of you guys were in the chat there, and I appreciate that. It was great having you, and he's invited me back anytime I want to come, and maybe in a few weeks I'll go back on there and let everybody know. So with that, I'm going to bring in some music, I think. There it is. Gotta love this technology. And even though it's late, guys, take the rest of the day off. Eat meat.